What do you do when a woman no longer values you? Do you chase harder? Do you explain yourself? Do you ask her why she has changed? Do you try to prove that you are worth keeping? Most men make the same mistake. They respond to being undervalued by giving more of themselves, more attention, more messages, more patience, more explanations, more chances. And without realizing it, they teach her that she can give less and still receive everything. But there is something far more powerful you can do when a woman stops appreciating your presence. You can stop trying to convince her of your value, not as a game, not to manipulate her, not to make her jealous, but because the moment you realize that someone repeatedly takes your presence for granted, your responsibility is no longer to make them appreciate you. Your responsibility is to decide what you will accept. In this video, we're going to break down 7 things you should do when a woman doesn't value you, how female psychology responds when your behavior changes, and most importantly, how to protect your self-respect without becoming bitter or playing childish games. And if you want more videos about Stoicism, psychology, relationships, and becoming a stronger, more disciplined man, subscribe to the channel and join us. Now, let's begin with the first thing you need to stop doing, because it may be the very thing teaching her to undervalue you. 1. Stop overgiving to earn her appreciation. The first thing you need to do is stop overgiving to earn her appreciation. Because when a woman stops valuing your presence, the instinct of most men is to give her even more. More attention, more affection, more messages, more patience. They think if they just show her how much they care, she will finally recognize what she has. But that is where the trap begins. You cannot convince someone to value you by constantly proving your value. If anything, excessive giving can create the opposite effect. When someone receives your time, attention, and effort, regardless of how they treat you, those things can slowly become expected rather than appreciated. She knows you will reply. She knows you will check on her. She knows that even after she becomes distant, you will eventually come back and restore the connection. So, your effort loses its meaning. And this is where you need to become honest with yourself. Are you giving because you genuinely want to? Or are you giving because you are afraid that if you stop, she will stop caring about you? There is a huge difference. Love should be freely given, but it should never require you to abandon your dignity. You should not have to exhaust yourself just to maintain someone's interest. So pull back, not to punish her, but to restore balance. Let her initiate sometimes, let her contribute. Let her show you what she actually wants. Because when you stop filling every silence, chasing every distance, and fixing every problem she creates, you finally create space for her actions to reveal the truth. And what you discover from that space leads to the second thing you must understand. Sometimes, the reason she doesn't value your presence is because she has never had to experience your absence. Point 2. Stop being available on demand. And that brings us to the second thing you need to do. Stop being available on demand. There is a difference between being caring and being constantly accessible. A man who has a life of his own does not disappear to create mystery. He simply has priorities that exist beyond one woman. But when you become available every minute of every day, something changes. She never has the opportunity to wonder about you. She never has to initiate because you always do it first. She never has to miss you because you are always there. And slowly, your presence becomes part of the background. Think about it. When something is always available, you rarely stop to appreciate it. You simply assume it will still be there tomorrow. The same psychological principle can appear in relationships. If she knows that you will immediately answer every message, cancel your plans whenever she wants attention, and rush toward her whenever she becomes distant, then your life begins revolving around her. And that is not attractive, not because women are incapable of appreciating kindness, but because genuine attraction cannot grow where there is no individuality. You need your own direction, your work, your ambitions, your friends, your interests, your discipline, your purpose. So when she messages you, you do not need to ignore her deliberately. You simply respond when you are genuinely free. If you are busy, stay busy. If you have plans, keep your plans. If you are working towards something important, do not abandon it just because she suddenly wants your attention. And notice what happens when you do this. You stop acting like someone waiting for permission to live. You become a man who already has a life, and she is invited into it, not placed at the center of it. But there is something even deeper you need to understand, because sometimes being undervalued has less to do with your availability and more to do with what you tolerate. And that takes us to the third thing you must change. 3. Stop accepting disrespect just to keep her. And this is where the real test begins, because you can stop chasing her. You can become less available. You can build your own life. But if you still tolerate disrespect because you are afraid of losing her, nothing has really changed. A woman learns how to treat you partly through what you repeatedly accept. If she speaks to you carelessly and you immediately forgive it without addressing it, she learns that your boundaries are flexible. If she disappears whenever she wants and returns whenever she is bored, and you welcome her back as though nothing happened, she learns that there are no consequences to treating you casually. If she repeatedly gives you the bare minimum and you continue giving her everything, eventually the imbalance becomes normal. And this is not about controlling her behavior. You cannot control how another person treats you. What you can control is your participation in that behavior. That is where self-respect begins. You do not need to become aggressive. You do not need to threaten her. You do not need to announce, "You will never treat me like this again." Sometimes the strongest boundary is simply changing your availability to someone who repeatedly crosses it. You become calm. You become clear. You stop arguing about the same behavior, because there comes a point where explaining a boundary over and over becomes another form of begging. You have already communicated enough. Now you watch what she does, and if nothing changes, you make a decision. Not from anger, not from revenge, from self-respect. Because staying in someone's life at any cost is not loyalty. Sometimes it is fear, disguised as love. And once you understand that, something inside you begins to change. You stop asking, "How do I make her treat me better?" You start asking a much more powerful question: why am I accepting treatment that makes me feel smaller? That question leads directly to the next step, because once you establish your boundaries, you must learn how to stop explaining them. 4. Stop explaining yourself to be understood. And once you stop accepting disrespect, the next thing you have to change is how much you explain yourself. Because a man who constantly explains himself can slowly turn a boundary into a negotiation. You tell her why something hurt you. She dismisses it. So you explain it again. She misunderstands. You give more details. She changes the subject. You send another message trying to make her finally understand what you meant. And before you realize it, you are no longer communicating. You are trying to convince someone to care. That is a completely different thing. There is nothing wrong with expressing yourself. In fact, emotional maturity requires you to communicate clearly. But once you have communicated your position, you do not need to keep presenting evidence for your own feelings. You do not need a courtroom defense just to justify why you deserve respect. Say what you mean. Say it calmly. Then watch what happens. If she cares, she will listen. If she values the relationship, she will consider your perspective. If she respects you, she will make an effort to understand. But if she repeatedly twists your words, dismisses your feelings, or turns every conversation into a battle, continuing to explain yourself will not magically create understanding. It will only drain you. This is where Stoic discipline becomes powerful. You cannot control whether someone understands you. You can control whether you continue sacrificing your peace, trying to force understanding. So stop chasing the perfect explanation. Stop writing paragraphs to someone who has already decided not to listen. Stop defending every decision you make. And most importantly, stop confusing being misunderstood with being wrong. Sometimes your greatest response is not another explanation. It is your behavior. You calmly live according to your standards, and you allow your actions to speak. Because when you stop trying desperately to control how she interprets you, you regain something you may not even realize you had lost: your emotional freedom. But there is another trap waiting for you. Because even after you stop explaining yourself, you can still remain emotionally trapped if you are constantly watching for her reaction. And that is what we need to confront next. 5. Stop measuring your worth by her reaction. Now comes one of the hardest changes of all. Stop measuring your worth by her reaction, because you can do everything right and still find yourself checking your phone, wondering if she noticed. Did she notice that you pulled back? Did she notice that you stopped chasing? Did she wonder why you did not text her? Did she miss you? Did she finally realize what she lost? And without noticing it, you are still making her the center of your emotional world. You may have stopped chasing her physically, but you are still chasing her mentally. That is not freedom. Real detachment begins when her reaction stops determining how you feel about yourself. Maybe she notices. Maybe she does not. Maybe she reaches out. Maybe she never does. Your value remains exactly where it was. Because your worth was never created by her attention in the first place. This is where many men get confused. They pull away but secretly hope she comes running back. They become quiet but secretly want her to ask, "What's wrong?" They start improving themselves but secretly want her to see the transformation. That is still dependence. You are simply performing independence while waiting for her approval. True growth is different. You start improving because you want a better life. You work harder because your future matters. You become healthier because you respect your body. You develop discipline because you respect your potential. You protect your peace because you finally understand how valuable it is. Whether she notices becomes irrelevant. And that is when something remarkable happens. You stop living in reaction to her. Her mood no longer determines your mood. Her attention no longer determines your confidence. Her silence no longer controls your thoughts. Her approval becomes something you may appreciate, but never something you need. This is the beginning of emotional independence, and once you reach that point, you are ready for something even more important. You can finally redirect all the energy you were spending trying to be valued toward building a life that makes you proud. And that brings us to the 6th thing you must do. 6. Redirect your energy into your own life. And this is where everything begins to change. Once you stop measuring your worth by her reaction, you need somewhere better to place your attention. You need to redirect your energy into your own life. Because every minute you spend analyzing her behavior is a minute you are taking away from your own growth. You wonder why she became distant. You replay conversations. You check when she was last online. You look at her stories. You wonder who she is talking to. You imagine what she might be thinking. And while your mind is busy trying to solve her, your own life is standing still. That has to end. Not because she is evil, not because you suddenly hate her, but because your attention is one of the most valuable things you possess. Give it to something that can actually grow from it. Build your career, learn a skill, train your body, read, create, work on your finances, spend time with people who genuinely care about you, set goals that make you excited to wake up in the morning, because there is a version of you that exists beyond this relationship, beyond her attention, and beyond whether she chooses you. That version of you needs your attention now. The Stoics understood that a disciplined life is built by directing your mind toward what is actually within your control. Her feelings are not yours to control. Her choices are not yours to control. Her opinion of you is not yours to control. But your habits are, your standards are, your response is, your direction is. So stop staring at the door waiting for someone to come back. Start building the house you want to live in. And when your life becomes full again, something changes inside you. You no longer need someone to fill the emptiness because there is no emptiness left for them to control. You are busy becoming someone you respect. And that transformation leads to the final step. Because once you build a life you are proud of, you must learn how to protect it from anyone who repeatedly brings you back into chaos. 7. Let your standards decide who gets access to you. And now we arrive at the final step. You have stopped overgiving. You have stopped chasing. You have stopped explaining yourself. You have stopped measuring your worth by her reaction. You have started building your own life. But there is one final thing that separates temporary confidence from genuine self-respect. You need standards. Because if you build yourself up but continue allowing the same people to repeatedly disturb your peace, you will eventually return to the same cycle. Standards are not about demanding perfection from someone. They are about knowing what you will and will not participate in. You can care about a woman and still decide that certain behavior is unacceptable. You can forgive someone without giving them unlimited access to you. You can miss someone without going back to them. You can love someone and still recognize that the relationship is not healthy for you. That is emotional maturity. And this is where you stop asking, how do I make her value me? You ask something far more important. Does the way she treats me deserve continued access to my life? That question changes everything, because your attention is access, your time is access, your emotional energy is access, your presence is access, and access should not be automatic. If someone consistently brings honesty, respect, effort, and peace into your life, you have every reason to nurture that connection. But if someone repeatedly brings confusion, disrespect, manipulation, and emotional exhaustion, you do not need to keep standing at the same door, hoping the person on the other side will suddenly become different. You can walk away, quietly, without hatred, without revenge, without trying to make them regret losing you. And that is the difference between walking away to get a reaction and walking away because you have finally accepted reality. The first is a game. The second is freedom. The Stoic does not spend his life trying to control who stays. He controls who receives his energy. And once you understand that, you stop fearing someone's departure. You start trusting yourself enough to leave situations that diminish you. That is when being valued stops being something you beg for. It becomes something you require through the standards you live by. And when those standards become part of who you are, you no longer need to convince anyone of your worth. You simply live in a way that proves you know it. And maybe that is the lesson you needed to hear. When a woman doesn't value you, your answer is not to become colder. It is not to manipulate her. It is not to disappear just to make her chase you. It is to return to yourself. Stop overgiving. Stop chasing. Stop accepting disrespect. Stop explaining yourself to someone committed to misunderstanding you. Stop measuring your worth through her reactions. Build your life, raise your standards, and protect your peace. Because the moment you stop begging someone to recognize your value, you reclaim something far more important than their attention. You reclaim yourself. Maybe she notices, maybe she doesn't. Maybe she comes back, maybe she doesn't. But by then, her reaction is no longer the point. You have already changed. You understand that your worth does not increase when someone chooses you, and it does not decrease when someone walks away. That is Stoic strength, to care without becoming dependent, to love without losing yourself, to walk away without hatred, to remain peaceful even when someone else chooses chaos. And remember this, the goal was never to make her realize what she lost. The goal was to become a man who no longer needs anyone else to validate what he knows about himself. So keep building, keep learning, keep working, keep protecting your peace. Because when you finally become comfortable standing on your own, you stop chasing people who make you question your worth. You don't need to convince the right person to value you. They will see it. And until then, keep choosing yourself.